Hello, welcome to Mindfully Crocheted. My name is Mara, and today is Friday Finishers. Today, while drinking some tea and sharing a little bit of mindfulness with you, I'm going to show you a couple of my finished objects and just chat a little bit. All right, so over the last probably week to week and a half, I was working on a project to make a shirt for my daughter. I started out with a free pattern that I found on Ravelry, and it was for a like a halter top, and it was made by piecing together some motifs. And when I got through the majority of it, I found that it was going to be turning out a little too big. I'll show you the pieces of it. So this is one of like the bikini top or cups. And then of course there's a matching one. I did finish all the pieces, I just haven't sewn them together. And then it was made up of, well, I did sew a couple of the pieces together. So the motifs looked like this. My daughter is at college. We did a FaceTime call, and she indicated to me that she thought it was going to be like probably too big or too loose. And so I kind of put this one aside and went on a search for a different project. I do still hope to finish this project, but we'll see. We may just have to frog it entirely, and that's just sometimes part of the process. I don't want to let it upset me. I did drop a crochet hook, but I'll just have to get that later. Anyway, also right now I am drinking some yogi tea. Oftentimes when I have a cup of tea, I have a nice big cup of tea, probably about 16 ounces. And I will often combine two types of tea. And so right now I've got a honey chai and a chamomile tea. And I really like Yogi brand teas. They often put little I don't know, you could call it like a fortune, but not really, but just little thoughts on there. And so for example, the one on here says, many paths lead to the same destination. It doesn't matter how you get there. So, and this one says, without gratitude, there is no prosperity. Both very true, very true. So anyway, sipping my teas in combination. So I ended up settling on another pattern that I found as a free Ravelry download. And actually I've spent quite a number of hours crocheting and putting this top together, and trying to put together a tutorial for it. And so I'm in the editing process of that, and I hope that you will look for it in the near future. All right, so this is what the finished top looked like. It is a pineapple stitch halter top. And it just kind of wraps around, and then we'll close with a button on the back. And since this is for my daughter, unfortunately I couldn't get the button put on because I need to make sure that it gets put in a place so that it fits around her snugly. And I'm hoping to see her this weekend and get it to her, and then I'll try to post some pictures of it. It'll be great. I did use for the project some Yarn Bee yarn that I found at Hobby Lobby on clearance for $1.74. So it was really a great find. This is a 100% cotton yarn, and this particular cake comes with 335 yards or 6 meters. And anyway, one cake was enough to complete the whole project. The top is not, it only has one size for it, and so I found that, you know, if you were trying to make it smaller or larger, it might be hard to do it. The only way that I could think you could do it would be to either use a larger hook so that you get a larger stitch, or you could use a smaller yarn and a smaller hook if you wanted it to turn out smaller. Anyway, I did try it on for her and it fits me. So she's a little bit more petite than I am, so we're just going to be having to make a little bit of an effort to get that to fit. Another little project that I finished just before Easter were these little Amigurumi ducks, and I made these from a pattern that I got on Etsy by Stringy Ding Ding. She has quite a few patterns on her Etsy in her Etsy store, and so I encourage you to go check her out. I know that Llama Mama Kayla has used some of her patterns also for different amigurumi, and she's a great pattern writer. Anyway, these little ducks are going to be for my daughter, who I think I may have mentioned in a different video, goes to a school where ducks are the mascot, and so I made the little scarf in the school colors and the little ducks for her to have. These ducks were my first experience using the safety eyes. And so the first duck that I did make the eyes a little too tight in the head, but they're still there, and then I think they work. And then the second one, the eyes stand out a little bit more. So anyway, that was those patterns. Prior to this, I haven't really done too much amigurumi, and so I think I'm going to start just giving a couple different patterns a try. Anyway, so those are the projects that I have to finish. I also did mention in another video a blanket that I had been working on and that I finished, and that is sitting behind me here on the chair. And I was glad to finally get that done. For 2023, I decided that I was going to keep track of all my finished work in a journal, in a digital journal, using the app Zinnia. And so I have been keeping track and cataloging all of my projects that I've completed. It was my New Year's resolution this year to try to finish 23 projects in 2023. And I think I'll easily be able to do that. I've already made, I think, at least 10 things this year. And so anyway, I wasn't as productive in March as I was in January and February. But once I finished that blanket, then I've been able to get a lot more little projects going, including the shirts and the ducks. And now I have started to work on a grocery bag. You could also call it a market bag. And I have started with the strap. One of the things I found when I made a market bag previously was that the strap was a little too stretchy, and so when you put anything in it, it really, the weight of whatever was in the bag kind of stretched out the handle and just pulled it down. So I never really got to use that market bag, and then I was thinking, well, how do I go about making one where it will actually be useful? And so in April, I also decided that I wanted to use more natural fibers, just as an for sustainability and for earth saving. And so I am using this 100% cotton yarn, and this was just like a cone yarn. Honestly, I can't remember exactly where I got it, but it was either Walmart or possibly Joann's or Michael's, but I'm leaning more toward Walmart on this. Anyway, I've already made quite a few things out of this. It was a very large cone of yarn, and I've made some washcloths and some little cinch bags, like soap holder bags. And anyway, and so now I'm going to see how far I can go with it on making this market bag. I also have a cone of white, and so if this runs out before I finish the bag, then I think I'll pull out and use the white. What I'm hoping to do is use things that I already have. And in Oregon as well as Washington, retailers, specifically Walmart, they have stopped offering plastic or paper bags in their store, and so you need to bring your own bag when you shop. And I think a lot of states and stores are starting to do this. Back in 2020 in Oregon, they banned the use of one-time use or the thinner plastic bags, and then they also, because the bags were thicker or paper bags, you have to pay for them. And I think most places charge like 5 cents or 10 cents per bag. Anyway, so I keep a lot of bags in my car, and I just figured it would be nice to have a couple that were durable and long lasting and that I could use instead of plastic or paper. So today did a little search, and I found a stitch called the thermal stitch that people are doing because it produces a sturdier, less stretchy fabric. And so it does stretch a little bit, but it's got a really nice tight weave. And how you do the stitch is like you start with a foundation cord, and there are several tutorials that you can go check out. So I'm not gonna show you how to make the foundation cord, but then once you have your number of chains that you want to do, I did 6. Then you do a single crochet by going into the back loop of the stitch, and then you go down into another stitch along the previous row, and you pull up your loop, and then you complete your single crochet. And you repeat that across, chain 1 and turn. Whoops, almost forgot to do the back loop. But anyway, the first few rows were kind of a challenge on that. And, but then once I got going, this worked up really fast. I think, well, gosh, I'm not even sure how long it took me to get this far, but probably about 20 to 30 minutes. I was having a conversation with one of my brothers, and while we were talking, I was just crocheting this strap. So once I get it to the length I want, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the bag. So keep posted on one of my future Friday finishers to see what happens with this. Okay. And so I think that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you again in another video. Leave your comments below on the things that you hope to finish on your Friday. Take care and be kind.